Now the sun is really beaming at us from this side, so we're gonna have to work with that. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Love to see everyone here for another one. Happy holidays, guys. Oh man, we're definitely in the spirit. We just had Thanksgiving. We just had a lot of fun with friends and family, and we're ready to get into Christmas. So the spirit is definitely in the air. Now, while this time of year is very special and we all have a lot of fun with family and friends, especially recently where, everyone got together for Thanksgiving, I think one of the big things that I wanted to make a video on today, and especially caution you guys on, is what holiday spending looks like. So Black Friday just passed by, and of course there was a lot of shopping that was done, and we're getting ready to have Cyber Monday very shortly. Now, I was watching the news earlier, and apparently they're saying that this particular holiday season, or should I say this particular holiday shopping season, a lot of folks have been spending a lot more money than they did in previous years.
And they're off. The holiday shopping season is officially underway, and Americans are sprinting for savings.
Look for the deals, the best deals that I can find, and try to stick within my budget.
Online spending hit a record $10.8 billion on Black Friday, a jump of 10% from a year ago. And in-store promotions are bringing customers back to in-person shopping.
So far, so good. We found some good deals at Nike, and I was just at Kate Spade. I found a really cute wallet.
As inflation cools, more Americans are opening up their wallets. The average shopper will spend a little over $1,000 on gifts, up 14% from last year.
Now, to me, I find this very, very interesting. A lot of folks are basically saying that they're hurting out there. They're basically not being able to afford their bills. And the interesting thing that I always find is that every year, somehow, if the economy is doing so bad or we're doing so bad and things cost so much money, somehow we still manage to spend more money compared to last year. We break records every time of more and more spending, which I find very, very backwards, to be quite honest. Now, guys, as someone who's made this mistake a lot as well, I am here to tell you that when it comes to your finances and it comes to getting out of debt, you really have to be very, very intentional about things. And especially when it comes down to the holidays as well. And it's a little bit difficult during this time because one of the ways that we have been programmed by society to say I love you is to buy some gifts. Now, guys, I made this mistake earlier on in life where I thought the way that you say I love you to people is by buying them stuff. And every year I would buy either TVs, I would buy video games. Shoot, I even remember I gave a family member one time a brand new PlayStation 3, I think it was at the time. Yeah, it was a brand new PlayStation 3. And every single year, I always thought to myself, well, how do I up what I did last year? How do I make this year a little bit more special than what I did last year? And it got to a point where I started to realize that I am just spending money just to prove to people that I love them by buying them gifts. And sometimes those gifts end up hurting folks. And what do I mean by that? I'll give you a great example. This individual that I would buy gifts for, and this family member that I said that I purchased a PlayStation for, I genuinely believe that that gift actually hurt them because they spent way too much time playing video games and not enough time actually doing things that would be beneficial for them, meaning studying a particular skill or gaining some type of knowledge that would be very beneficial for them sometime in the future. Now, by the way, guys, if you're wondering why the screen happens to be moving and, the sun is pointing in different directions, it is because our car is actually driving right now, and it is doing the driving while I make this video for you. And one of these days, I'd love to show you guys what it actually does, but it's pretty incredible how we're in a time where a vehicle can actually drive itself while you do other things. Now, don't get me wrong, doesn't mean that I'm not being safe about it and not watching the road, but what a time to live in when your vehicle can actually drive itself and you can do other things, which I find to be kind of a little wild in my opinion. So as I was saying, guys, this individual that I bought the PlayStation for, as time went on and I started to see what my gifts were doing for this person, all it was doing was taking up a good portion of their time, like I was telling you before, and they didn't really focus on anything besides playing video games. And it turned out to be something where I felt like I hurt them more than I actually did something good for them. Now, not just that particular example, but also as well something that I've noticed with my kids. Every single year when it comes to this holiday shopping, we, kind of overdid it over the last couple of years. And when I say overdid it in the last couple of years, I'm talking about maybe the last 2 to 3 years. My kids have been getting so many gifts. And one of the things that I'm starting to notice with them is that it just becomes like something of overload. They don't know what to do. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm speaking from a place of privilege. I understand that. But my kids that are very, very small, they really don't need all these toys. And I was just having this conversation with my wife. They don't need all these toys. They only need one or two. And there's only so much that they can kind of go around and play with at one time. And it's kind of wild to me how, we as parents try to give the best for our kids. And in doing so, sometimes we overdo it. And to the point where it actually hurts us. And luckily, we're at a point in life where even if we buy all these gifts for our kids, we don't even think about it, in the sense that it doesn't affect our life one bit. But that's not the case for everybody. And the reason why I know that for a fact is because credit card debt is at an all-time high, student loan debt is at an all-time high, car payments are an all-time high. I mean, it's wild to me how much people are paying for car payments and all this other stuff. So therefore, this holiday spending or this holiday shopping that I'm talking to you about really, really impacts you guys. And so one of the things that I'm on here to tell you is that at the end of the day, to be quite honest, all these gifts that you buy people, they don't matter. And less so with kids. I feel like my kids, they open something, and obviously they're little, so they don't know any better. But they open up their gifts, they play with it for 5-10 minutes, and then they move on. They just kind of throw the toy in a corner. Or in the other case, when I told you about this family member, which I bought a PlayStation for, yeah, it was awesome because they used it heavily. Like, they loved it. They used it so much for so many years. But then you kind of look back at that situation and you say, man, did I contribute to making this person just be lazy? Because, you hope that as a young adult is coming up, you hope that they learn a skill. You hope that they really focus on certain things. And instead, all they're doing is playing video games. That really hurts, right? And it's something where you say to yourself, man, I think I hurt the person more than I helped them. Okay, so if we're not going to buy something, we're going to be very particular about our holiday shopping. And we're going to make sure that we're hitting our financial goals. Now the question is, well, what are some actionable things that we can take away from today's video and apply in our lives? So I'll give you guys 3 things. Number 1, and this is probably one of the toughest things that I'm going to tell you to do. If you are struggling and you guys want to cut down on holiday spending, the best way for you to cut down and really, really stick to your budget, especially when it comes to the holidays and the upcoming shopping season, and this is going to be tough, so bear with me, you say no to people. Now, I know this is an unpopular opinion, and I know that folks are probably going to say, hey, I'm not going to do that, but here's what I will tell you. When you have a conversation with folks and you're honest about where you are, and you say, hey, look, whoever your family is, mom, dad, brother, sister, uncle, I don't know, you name it, whoever, this year, I'm not going to be able to get you guys any gifts because I am on a path that requires me to be strict with my budget, and I just don't have any money this year in order to buy you gifts. So unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to give out any gifts this year. Any person who is wise and mature would honestly approach me and say, hey, I think that that's phenomenal. I would prefer that you are more successful than buying me a gift. That is a mature adult. Now that is hopefully the way that I hope that it goes. But if it turns out the other way, where a family member or whoever you're talking to says, man, I thought you were going to get me a gift, and you see that this conversation is going south, then maybe you should question if that relationship is really the relationship for you. Are they doing you more harm, or are they actually a benefit in your life? So the second thing that I'll leave you with, and this is what we're doing with the kids for the holiday, is we are changing the way in which we give gifts. And so what do I mean by that? Instead of buying them stuff, meaning things, toys, things that they'll just open up and throw in a corner after maybe 10, 15 minutes of use, we are changing the way in which we give them something, and instead of stuff, we're doing experiences. So one of the things that's important to us is making sure that our kids get a phenomenal education, and we do that through different experiences. I'll give you an example. Here in Orlando, there is so many different things that you can do and so many different activities, right, to make your kids learn at the same time while having fun. We have the Orlando Science Center here. You can spend a day, buy passes for them, spend a day learning about science. You have the Crayola experience, where you can help build their creativity and let them go play and draw. And it's a really awesome experience versus giving them a toy or something which they're not going to use. So this particular move that we recently just had, it reminded me of how much stuff that we have, and sometimes we need to declutter our homes, and we need to stop buying all these gifts for the holidays and just cluttering up the house for no reason. To be quite honest, the kids can only play with so much at one given time. All right, so to recap, the first thing and the most effective way to make sure that you're still within your budget is you say no to people. And that is one of the toughest things that you could ever learn. But once you learn that skill, boy oh boy, is it a very effective skill. Number two, you change out stuff for experiences. And by the way, these experiences don't have to cost a lot of money. People don't realize that some of these activities that you can do, you can take off on an off day and spend significantly less than what you do during the peak hours. So for example, as I mentioned, going to the Science Center, going to maybe a fair, possibly taking them to a Crayola experience if you're local in the area and you don't have to travel, right? These are ways in which you can really, really enrich people's lives without having to spend a lot of money. And the third and the last way in which I'll leave you, and again, this is a good tip if you want to save money and stay within your budget, plus also as well hit your financial goals, and we did this a lot, and that is come up with your own gift idea and original gift idea that doesn't require a lot of money to execute on. One of the games in which we tend to play is who can come up with the best gift with the least amount of money spent. And what it does is it forces you to be very creative in what you actually give the person. And it can be with anything inside of the house. I'll give you an example. One year, my wife did a phenomenal gift where she put together a collage. So we have, of course, a photo printer at home, things that we bought in the past, right? So meaning we don't have to spend any money on it. And so we have our photo paper, we have our, photo printer. And so what she does is a collage, and it's of, for example, say all the dates that we had, pictures from prior dates. So things that we were doing in the past, or maybe it was, hey, what did we do year to year? It's this nice little collage book, and it's a great gift that she gives me every year. And it shows us some of the awesome memories that we've had throughout the years. And it doesn't cost her anything because, we bought it in the past. It's just sitting there, meaning the printer, the paper, all she has to do is take the time to look through pictures, put the collage together, right? She takes the scissors, she cuts out the pictures, she puts them in a nice little format, and then she writes me a beautiful letter to go with each and every picture to talk about all the different memories that we've had. And to be quite honest with you guys, a lot of times when you receive gifts like that, you tend to hold on to them a little bit more, and they mean that much more because the person put a lot of time, energy, and effort into it, as opposed to just going to the store and just buying something. All right, guys, so that'll do it for this video. More importantly, as we prepare for the holiday shopping and as we prepare for the holiday season, please take the time out to prepare yourselves, because again, if you don't prepare, you're going to blow your budget, and of course you're not going to hit your financial goals. Prior to me actually understanding how money works and how you can become successful with it, I've made all these mistakes many times, and I started to realize that something had to change. And if you don't prepare, I'm telling you right now, you're going to blow your budget, and then things are going to get tough, because once the holiday season is over, you then go into the New Year's wondering how you're going to pay for all that debt. Not a good place to be. Have you felt like you've bought gifts before for your family members and you thought you were doing something kind for them, and in reality all it did was hurt them? Have you ever had a time where you had to say no to somebody for a holiday gift? And how did that go? I'm kind of curious. And if you guys resonate with this video, let me know in the comments below. So hopefully you guys stay within budget. Hopefully you're able to implement some of these 3 ideas that I gave you for the holiday season. And hopefully you guys don't go too crazy when it comes to shopping, especially like most Americans, because I'm telling you right now, when that new year comes and that credit card bill comes, oh man, it's almost like a hangover. You don't want to be in that position. So anyways, guys, I got some work to do. And of course, we got to make it to our final destination. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a like for the video, as it helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications, so that way you're notified when I upload new videos to the channel. And of course, lastly, share this with a family member or friend, so that way they can implement these 3 ideas, so that way they don't go crazy when it comes to holiday shopping. All right, guys. Love you all. Appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.